certain speed range and under varying loads, a mechanical device is required to control the amount of fuel injected. This device is called a governor. The speed of a diesel engine depends on two factors: the amount of fuel injected into the cylinders and the load under which the engine works. Suppose, for example, that the engine is running at a certain speed. If the load is increased, the engine slows down. If, on the other hand, the load should decrease with no change in the amount of fuel injected, the engine speeds up. By regulating the amount of fuel injected, the engine speed may be kept within a certain range. To do this, various types of governors have been developed. Most governors operate on the principle of centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is the tendency of an object, when traveling in a circular path, to move away from its axis of rotation. These rotating weights are affected by this force. As the speed is increased, centrifugal force grows stronger, pushing the weights further away from their rotational axis. The distance from this axis is proportional to the speed of rotation. One type of governor is the overspeed governor. It acts merely as a safety device and keeps the engine from overspeeding or racing. The basis of the overspeed governor is a pair of flyweights mounted on the drive shaft. Governors operate on the principle. The outward motion of the flyweights is transmitted to a collar which slides on the shaft. The movement of this collar actuates a linkage to the fuel pump controls. A spring presses upward against the collar. As the engine operates at normal speed, the flyweights tend to move outward. This movement, however, is retarded by the spring. But should the engine speed increase to a point where the safe speed limit is exceeded, the centrifugal force of the flyweights becomes great enough to depress the spring. This actuates the linkage to the fuel pump control, reducing the amount of fuel injected, and a decrease in engine speed results. Thus, the overspeed governor serves as a safety device in preventing the diesel engine from overspeeding. One design of overspeed governor, called the overspeed trip, is sometimes used to stop the engine completely when a safe speed is exceeded. This type of overspeed trip has only one flyweight, also working on the principle of centrifugal force. While the engine operates at a safe speed, the rotating flyweight is held close to the drive shaft by a spring. As soon as the engine overspeeds, the flyweight moves outward and trips a latch. This causes the fuel supply to the injection valves to be shut off, and the engine stops. Let us repeat the action of this mechanism step by step. The flyweight is held to the drive shaft by a spring. When the engine overspeeds, centrifugal force overcomes the resistance of this spring, and the flyweight moves away from the shaft. In this position, the rotating flyweight trips the latch, which releases the spring-loaded plunger. The plunger pushes against the fuel cutout lever, which in turn moves the fuel pump control to the no injection position, and the engine stops. Before the engine can be started again, the latch and the fuel pump must be reset. This is done by this reset arm, which is mounted on the reset. The fuel cutout cam, mounted on the control shaft of the engine, is used when stopping the engine by hand. When the starting lever of the engine is moved to the stop position, the cam turns the cutout lever, shutting off the fuel pumps. flyweight moves. The regulating governor not only keeps the engine from overspeeding, but maintains the engine's speed at a fixed rate despite changes in load. In this governor, the flyweights are linked hydraulically to the fuel control assembly. This assembly consists basically of a piston connected to the fuel system controls, a housing, and a spring. The downward pressure of the spring is balanced by oil pressure on the lower side of the piston. The amount of oil in this space is regulated by a valve called the pilot, controlled by the flyweight. When the engine is running at a set speed, the port to the power cylinder is covered by the pilot valve plunger. The plunger is held in this position by the flyweights. If the engine load decreases, however, the engine speeds up, and the additional centrifugal force throws the flyweights outward, raising the pilot valve plunger. This opens the port, and oil from the power cylinder is now allowed to flow through the pilot valve cylinder into a drainage passage to the oil sump. The power spring forces the piston down, actuating the linkage to the fuel system controls, and the supply of fuel to the engine cylinders is diminished. As the engine speed returns to the set rate, the flyweights resume their original position, and the pilot valve plunger again covers the port. If the load increases, the engine slows down, and the flyweights move inward. Centrifugal force throws the flyweights outward. This lowers the pilot valve plunger, allowing oil to flow through the pilot valve chamber to the power cylinder. This oil, supplied by a pump, is under a pressure sufficiently high to overcome the pressure of the power spring. The power piston moves upward, increasing the amount of fuel injected into the cylinders. Once again, as the speed returns to the set rate, the flyweights resume their central position. The gear pump, which supplies the high-pressure oil, is driven from the governor drive shaft and takes suction from the governor oil sump. A spring-loaded accumulator maintains a constant head of oil and allows excess oil to return to the sump.
Hello, dear students. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, have you gone through this video? Okay, just in this video they have explained about the working of a governor. Let me brief it what they have done here. Okay, this is a simple what governor. Okay, already we have discussed the function of governor is to regulate the speed. Okay, just I am explaining point by point. So governor function is to regulate the speed. How it is regulating the speed? Before going to the discussion, let us see the parts of a governor here. Now we are discussing a simple watt governor. This is a watt governor here. Today we'll discuss about the watt governor. Before going to watt governor, let me explain about the classification of governor. Already we have discussed earlier. So when we go for governors, governors are two types. One is centrifugal governor and second one is the inertia governor. Governors are two types. One is centrifugal governor and second one is the inertia governor. Right now we are not dealing with inertia governors. We are dealing with the centrifugal governors only. When we go for centrifugal governors, it is again two types. One is pendulum type governor, second one is the loaded type governor. So when we go for pendulum type, are you able to hear my voice? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Students?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, when we go for centrifugal governor, it is two types, pendulum type and loaded type. Again, pendulum type is a watt governor. In centrifugal governor, first one is the pendulum type. In pendulum type, we call it as a watt governor. Again, centrifugal governor. Second type is a loaded type. Again, loaded type is two types, dead weight governor and spring control governor. When we go for dead weight governor, again it is two types. One is Porter governor. Second one is the Proel governor. And when we go for spring control governor, it is again four types. One is Hartnell governor, Hutton governor, Wilson Hartnell, and last one is the Pickering governor. So as far as our syllabus concerned, we are having only four governors in the syllabus. We discussed the first one is the watt governor, second Porter, third Proel, and next when we go for spring control, we discussed these first two, Hartnell governor and Hutton governor. As far as syllabus, I am having only five governors to deal. One is watt governor, Porter governor, Proel, Hartnell, and Hutton. Now let me explain about the first type is a watt governor. Okay. So now let us see, this is a simple line diagram of a watt governor. When you see the components of a watt governor, these blue balls we call it as the fly balls. These two are the fly balls. Again, arms are there. These two are we called as the arms, and these two we call it as the links. This is called as the spindle shaft. This central portion we call it as a spindle shaft. Again, I am explain. These two are the fly balls. This is a arm, and these two are the links, and a bell crank lever is connected to the sleeve shaft. This is a bell crank lever which is L shape. This is the bell crank lever which is connected to the sleeve shaft. Now this sleeve shaft is connected to a bevel gauge drive. The sleeve shaft is connected to a bevel gauge drive. So now this is the engine shaft. So here I am having the at the left side I am having engine shaft. So engine is connected to this shaft. So now how the governor works here? When speed of engine increases, just I will explain the working of a watt governor. Speed of engine increases. How the speed of the engine will increases? When load on engine decreases. This is the case 1. Speed of the engine is increases due to the load on the engine decreases. When the load on the engine is decreasing, speed increases. When the speed increases, what will happen? This I call it as a spindle axis, or this portion I call it as the axis of rotation. I am showing with the pointer. This portion I call it as the axis of rotation. Okay, see again this portion I am call it as axis of rotation. Now when the speed engine increases, speed increases due to decrease in load on the engine. In that case, what will happen? These fly balls move away from the spindle axis. These fly balls move away from the spindle axis. What is the working principle here? Centrifugal force is the working principle. So as the engine shaft is rotating, the spindle shaft also will rotate. As the spindle shaft rotates, these balls will experience the centrifugal force. So due to centrifugal force, what will happen? When the speed of the engine increases, speed on the engine increases due to decrease in load on the engine. In that case, what will happen? Centrifugal force increases. So next, what will happen here? So this symbol shows the increasing symbol. This symbol shows the decreasing symbol. Speed on engine increases when the students, tell me what will happen to the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force on fly balls increases. Centrifugal force of the fly ball increases. In that case, what will happen? These fly balls will move away from the axis of rotation. These fly balls will move away from the axis of rotation. Means it will go like this. This fly. Already yesterday I have shown the video. When the speed on the engine increases, this centrifugal force is increasing, and these fly balls are moving away from the axis of rotation. So in that case, what the governor will sense? The governor sense that engine is running at the high speed. So now what is the function of the governor? It has to reduce the speed. First, the function of governor is to regulate the speed. Suppose you take any engine. Engine has to rotate at rated speed. Main function of engine is engine has to run at design speed. So let us take for example, I am having an IC engine whose design speed is 3000 RPM. This is the design speed. 3000 RPM is the design speed. Engine has to run at 3000 RPM. But when there is decrease in load on the engine, what will happen? This 3000 RPM increases to 5000 RPM. I am showing here. Speed increases. Instead of 3000, it is just say some 5000 RPM. Now governor senses the engine has to run at 3000 RPM, but it is running at more than 3000 RPM. Now I want to reduce the speed of the engine. How it will reduce the speed of the engine? Here you are having the throttle valve, you can see this. These are throttle valve, you can see. When the fly balls move away from the axis of rotation, governor senses engine is running at high speed. In that now bell crank lever will operate automatically, and what it will do? It closes the throttle valve. Means it reduces the supply of the fuel. Whenever there is reduce in supply of the fuel, automatically the speed of the engine reduces. Up to how much time it will reduce the supply of the fuel? Until this 5000 RPM is reduced to 3000 RPM. Okay, this is case 1.
Sir, if the fly balls move up, does the spindle shaft comes down?
Yes. Now let me explain. When the speed of the engine increases, what will happen? This sleeve will move upwards, right? This sleeve will move upwards. Correct point. You can see here. This is the sleeve you are having. When speed increases, not drawing properly. Okay. So when the speed increases, automatically this will move upwards. This sleeve will move upwards. When the sleeve is moving upwards, what will happen? These fly balls will move away from the axis of rotation. That's why I am showing this arrow mark here. This is the position of the sleeve. It is moving upwards. The fly ball moves away from the axis of rotation. By these two conditions, the governor senses the engine is running more than the design speed. Design speed is 3000 RPM. For example, I have taken. Design speed is 3000 RPM. So, but when these balls are away from the axis of rotation, this sleeve will moving upward. Now the governor senses the engine is running at the high speed. Now I want to reduce the speed. How the governor reduce the speed? It shut down the fuel supply. Means it will closes the throttle valve. When it close throttle valve, up to how much it will close? Until the engine's overspeed of the engine will become up to the design speed. Up to that case, it will shut down. After that, it will work normally. This is for case 1. Now let us discuss about the case 2. So what is the case 2 we can see? So case 2 is, so case 1 speed of engine is increases. Now let us take for case 2. Speed of engine decrease. So when the speed on the engine is decreasing, and what case the speed on the engine is decreases? When load on engine increases. When the load on the engine increases, speed automatically decreases. In that case, what will happen? This sleeve will move downwards. So this upward motion is for the case 1, downward motion of the sleeve for the case 2. Okay, when the sleeve is moving downwards, these fly balls will move towards the axis of rotation, means it will come close to this inner surface. Okay, this is for, this arrow mark is for case 1 I am showing with 1, and this is for case 2. In case 1, the fly balls move away from the axis of rotation. In case 2, what will happen? These fly balls will come close to the axis of rotation, and this sleeve is coming downwards, and the sleeve is coming down. You can see sleeve is coming downwards. These are closer to the spindle shaft. In that case, again, the governor senses that engine is running at the low speed. For example, speed of the engine is decreasing. My design speed is 3000 rpm. Say it decreases to 1000 rpm. Assume it is decreases up to 1000 rpm. Now what governor has to do? Governor has to do that it has increased the speed of the engine. How it will increase the speed of the engine? It opens the throttle valve here. So when the speed of the engine decreases, design speed is 3000 rpm, but due to increasing load on the engine, it reduces to 1000 rpm. When it reduces the speed to 1000 rpm, these fly balls will move, come close to the shaft axis or spindle axis. This centrifugal force decreases here. Next, what will happen? Centrifugal force decreases. Here, what will happen? Centrifugal force is increasing. Here, centrifugal force is decreasing. When the centrifugal force decreases, these fly balls come close to the shaft spindle axis, and this sleeve is moving downwards. These are the conditions. Okay. In that case, the governor senses engine is running at lower rpm. How to increase the speed of the engine? How it is increase the speed of the engine? It opens the throttle valve so that more fuel is being entered into the engine. Up to how much time it will open the throttle valve? Until the engine reaches the design rate, that is 3000 rpm. So this is the working of your governor. Okay. Are you able to understand what I am saying, dear students? So these are simple working of a watt governor. Let me revise again. Okay, working of a governor. Just I am showing with line diagram. Working of watt governor. So I will give the conditions. First, load on the engine. When the speed will increases, when the load on the engine decreases. When the load is decreasing, speed of the engine increases. In that case, what will happen? Centrifugal force increases. When the centrifugal force increases, what the governor has to do? Cut off fuel supply. Up to how much it will cut off the fuel supply? Until it reaches the design speed. This is for case 1. Load on the engine decreases, speed increases. When the speed increases, centrifugal force of the governor increases. When the centrifugal force of the governor increases, it senses that engine is running at high speed. How we know the centrifugal force is increasing? When the centrifugal force is increasing, the fly balls will move away from the axis of the rotation. So these are the indications. In that case, governor senses and it will cut down the fuel supply with the help of the bell crank lever. Second case is load on the engine increases. When you increase the load on the engine, what will happen? Automatically speed decreases. When the speed is decreasing, centrifugal force also decreases. When the centrifugal force decreases, what will happen? The sleeve is coming downwards, and the fly balls will move closer to the axis of rotation. I am writing here. Fly ball move towards axis of rotation. So in that case, what the governor will do? Final function. So increases the fuel supply until it reaches to the design speed. Governor increases the fuel supply until it reaches the until engine reaches design speed. Okay, this is the simple working of a watt governor with help of the line diagram. Okay, this is the line diagram you can see. Now let us derive the height of a governor. Okay, now let us derive the second case is height of the watt governor. Okay, yeah, you can see the watt governor derivation here. A simple watt governor you can see. Please unmute yourself. Yeah. Yeah, watt governor derivation. So in this, we are going to find out the height of the governor here. In watt governor derivation, first type of centrifugal governor, we are discussing the watt governor. In the watt governor, we are going to find out the height of a governor H. This height we are going to find out. Okay. Let us see how we can do this. You can see this is the axis of rotation, or I can call it spindle axis. These two are the fly balls. So, what is the force acting on a fly ball? Two forces are acting on a fly ball. First force is the centrifugal force due to rotation. First force acting on the fly ball is the centrifugal force due to rotation of the engine. Second one is its own weight. Just I'm considering only the left side portion. Similarly, the same forces are acting on the right side also. So these two are the arms. These two are the left hand side arms. Sorry, these two are the right hand side arms, and these two are the left hand side arms. And the arms are connected together, and T is the tension in the arms. Let T is the tension in the arms. Now let us define all the parameters one by one. This small r is the radius of rotation with respect to the fly ball. W is the weight of the ball in newtons. Let W is the weight of the ball in newtons, and T is the tension in the arms. So you are having tension in all four arms. Just I'm representing only in one arm. Don't mind that. But T is the tension in all four arms. I'm showing only for one arm. Omega is the angular velocity of the arm. Omega is the angular velocity of the arm in radians per second. And small r is the radius of rotation of the governor. Small r is the radius of rotation of the governor. And Fc is the centrifugal force acting on the balls or fly balls, I can say. Fc is the centrifugal force acting on the balls. And H is the height of the governor in meter. Now H is the height of the governor in meter. Okay, these are the parameters we need to define. So if we, with respect to the axis of the ball, I'm drawing it. Yeah. So this is the angle made. Alpha is the angle made. I can show here, or I can show here. Alpha is the angle made by the arms. Alpha is the angle made by the arms. Our aim is to find out the height of the watt governor. How we can do this? Can anyone tell? How we can derive the height of a governor? Taking the moments about O. You can see, take the moments about point O. Can anyone give this equation? Dear students, take the moments about point O. I am writing here. This is point O. Take the moments about the point O. So I want to show here. Take moments about O. Can you give the equation about O? Centrifugal force Fc multiplied by the height h. Moment about O is Fc is one force. What is the perpendicular distance for the centrifugal force? Height h is a perpendicular distance. I can write here. Fc into h. So this is acting in what direction with respect to in what direction it will act? If I take this is a clockwise motion, this will act and weight will act in anti-clockwise motion. Okay, with respect to point O, the centrifugal force is acting in clockwise motion. I will show like this. The centrifugal force is acting in clockwise. What about this? With respect to O, the weight is acting in anti-clockwise motion. So that's why I'm taking, so centrifugal force is acting clockwise and weight of the ball is acting anti-clockwise, and I'm taking moments about O. So my first equation is Fc, centrifugal force, which is multiplied by this perpendicular distance h. This is the distance h, which is this is a anti-clockwise movement. So this is clockwise movement, which is equal to anti-clockwise movement. That is nothing but W weight. What is the perpendicular distance for the W? Radius of rotation. Fc into h is equal to W into R. Now what is Fc? How you can give the centrifugal force equation? How you can give centrifugal force? That is given as mr omega square. Centrifugal force is given as mr omega square. Now substituting in the Fc, I am writing here mr omega square into h, which is equals to W into R. Again W is mg, I can write. mr omega square into h is equals to mg into R. From this get the height of a governor. Solve this again. Yes, solve this. Basic equation Fc into h is equals to W into R. Fc is mr omega square into h, which is equals to W is mg into R. From this find the height of a governor. H is equals to mg into R by mr omega square. RR will go away, will go away. Now h is equals to g by omega square. But we know that what is omega? 2 pi n by 60. Now I am finding the relationship between height and speed of the governor. Substitute in this, h is equals to, and g I am taking it as 9.81. Omega is 2 pi n by 60 whole square. So I am getting the equation in terms of n square. Give that value, numerical value. Dear students, calculate and give me that value. Fast. Hello? Hello, dear students, are you able to hear me? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
No one is responding. Yeah, solve it and give me the answer. What is the value you are getting here? 9.881 by 2 pi n by 60. Just you can solve this equation. 9.81 by 2 pi by 60 whole square into n square we are getting. Okay. So this total term you can get it as 895. That is nothing but 895 by
894, sir.
Yeah, let it be. I'm round it off to 895. Some points will come. Now height of governor is given as h is equals to 895 by n square. This is the final equation we are getting for a ward governor. H is equals to 895 by n square. Now can anyone tell me relationship between height and speed of a governor from this? Can anyone tell me the relationship between height and speed of a governor? Directly proportional or inversely proportional? Here I can say that, right, h is inversely proportional to the n speed. If speed increases, height decreases, or if speed decreases, height will increases. Got it? If speed of the governor increases, automatically what will happen? Speed of the governor is increasing means I am writing here. Speed of a governor increasing. Height will, what will happen? The height will it increase or decrease? Height will
Decrease.
decrease. Right. If speed is decreasing, speed of a governor is decreasing. What about the height of the governor? Height of the governor is increasing. Okay. Okay, I will show that. You can see here, when centrifugal force is increasing, means speed of the governor is increasing. When the speed is increasing, what about this height? Height decreases, means it will move upward. You can see case 1, it is moving upwards, means the height of the governor is decreasing. When the height of the governor is decreasing, when the speed is increasing, height of the governor decreases. This is for case 1. Similarly for case 2, speed decreases, means the balls is coming closer to the axis of rotation. The spindle is coming downwards, means the height of the governor is increasing. This is the relationship we are getting to the watt governor. Okay, already I have explained about the working of a governor. Just I am revising what I have done so far. So working of governor is for two cases. When the load is decreasing on the engine, speed automatically increases. When the speed increases, centrifugal force will increases. When the centrifugal increases, governor is running at the high speed and it will cut down the fuel supply with help of the bell crank lever. This is for case 1. Second case, load on the engine is increasing. Here, load on the engine is increasing. When the load increases, speed will decreases. Automatically, centrifugal force of the fly balls also decreases. Means the fly balls move towards the axis of rotation. In that case, governor, what it will do? The governor increases the fuel supply until the engine reaches the design speed. So this total is the working of your watt governor. And I have shown a line diagram of a watt governor. So this is a simple watt governor which are having two fly balls. This is a left hand ball and this is a right hand ball. On this watt governor, what are the forces are acting? Two forces are acting. One is the centrifugal force due to axis of centrifugal force due to rotational speed of the engine. Second one is its own weight. Weight is always acts downwards due to acceleration due to gravity. And centrifugal force is for left hand ball, the centrifugal force is acting towards the left side. Similarly for the right ball, the centrifugal force is acting towards the right side. Now in the watt governor derivation, our aim is to find out the height of a governor for different speeds. When the speed increases, what is the height of a governor? Or when the speed is decreasing, what is the height of a governor? In that case, we have defined all the parameters. W is the weight of a ball, T is the tension in arms, omega is the angular velocity of the arm, R is the small radius of the governor or radius of rotation I can say, Fc is the centrifugal force acting on the ball, and H is the height of governor in meters. Now what we have done? We have done the take the moments about point O. So I am having two forces. One is weight of the ball and one is the centrifugal force. What is the moment? Moment is nothing but force into perpendicular distance. But the centrifugal force, what is the perpendicular distance I am having? Height of a governor is the perpendicular distance. That's why I am writing it as Fc into H. One moment. Second moment is weight of the ball. For weight of the ball, what is the perpendicular distance? Radius of rotation is the perpendicular distance. So that's why I have written the equation as Fc into H is equal to W into R. Why I am taking it is equal? The centrifugal force with respect to O is rotating clockwise. Similarly, the weight of the ball with respect to O is rotating in the anti-clockwise. One movement is in clockwise motion and one movement in the anti-clockwise motion. That's why I equated these two. Fc into H is equal to W into R. Now I have derived Fc. We know that centrifugal force whose formula is mr omega square multiplied by the height h, which is equal to mg into r. From this h is equal to mr will go away, g by omega square is left, and g I am substituting it as 9.81 and omega I am taking it as 2 pi n by 60 whole square. I am taking n square outside, 9.81 by 2 pi by 60 whole square. This total term, this 9.81 by 2 pi by 60 whole square is nothing but 895. Okay, this total term I am getting it as 895 by n square. Okay, this is the height of a governor whose equation is given as 895 by n square. Now from this I can conclude that this height is inversely proportional to the speed of a governor. Sorry, speed of the governor or speed of the engine I can say. So the height is always inversely proportional to the speed. I am writing here h is inversely proportional to the speed. Means what does it mean? when the speed is increasing, automatically the height of the governor decreases. Second case, when the speed is decreasing, automatically the height of the governor increases. Okay, this is about the watt governor. I have derived the equation for the height of a watt governor. Next class, I am going to solve a problem on the height of the watt governor. Okay, after solving the problems, I would like to go for the second governor, second case, that is Porter and Proel. Okay, just let me show again what I have done so far. Yeah, up to now I completed this watt governor in pendulum type. This I am completed. I have completed. Next class I will solve the problem on watt governor. Second case we are having the loaded type governors. In loaded type again two types: dead weight governor and spring controlled governor. Next class I will going to complete the Porter and Proel governors. Next class we solve the Porter and Proel after solving the problem on watt governor. So with this I will wind up this class. Still if you are having any doubts, please ask me, dear students. So don't leave the class. I want to take the attendance. Please don't leave. I'm taking the attendance. Sir, further sir, attendance download అయితలేదు రండి చూడండి. Friends, please don't leave. I'm taking the attendance. The class is no problem there, sir. అయినా అక్కడ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవాలి తెలిసినాయి.